Roll Tide and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you from our studios in Tuscaloosa as we just wrapped up a day weekend. Busy weekend as well with Crimson Tide baseball, and that's what we're going to be talking about on the show this afternoon. We'll take a look at what's coming up, plus our headlines for today, thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's see what's coming up on the show this afternoon. First of all, we'll visit with the second baseman for the Crimson Tide baseball team in Brennan Holt, getting to learn more about his very interesting baseball journey going from LSU to Oklahoma State to South Alabama to now where he is with the Crimson Tide baseball team. So a conversation with Brennan Holt will get us started, followed by a look back to the game we had on Sunday. Alabama was against Arkansas in Game 3 of the series, and in the second inning, David Kindred and I were joined in the Crimson Tide Sports Network booth by Ryan Coleman-Williams, recapping A-Day, talking Crimson Tide football. A lot of fun as well, just with Alabama wide receiver Ryan Coleman-Williams. So we'll replay that conversation and then be joined once again for the third time this spring by Logen Devenport, an outfielder for the Alabama baseball team that's been sidelined with injury but has great perspective on everything going on with Alabama baseball. That's what's coming up, presented by RJ Young. Also looking ahead to the Crimson Tide football team as we get into our headlines. Last Saturday was the Golden Flake A-Day game, the scrimmage really inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Great crowd on hand. We really enjoyed getting to see Alabama in person, especially get to see the quarterbacks, Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, have fine performances for the Crimson Tide. Spring practice will actually wrap up this week with a couple of practices for Kalen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide, but again, everything has been really smooth so far during spring practice for Alabama. During the broadcast of the game, I had a chance to catch up with 4 captains for Alabama this past season after their captain ceremony at Denny Chimes, getting their handprints and cleat marks forever cemented at the base of Denny Chimes. A really fun conversations with Parker Brailsford, Deontay Lawson, Tim Keenan III, and Ty Simpson. All of those guys hope to hear their name called pretty early in the draft. That'll be in Pittsburgh coming up from April 23rd to the 25th. So best of luck to those guys as they continue getting ready for next week and the NFL draft. Once spring practice comes to a close, the Crimson Tide will mostly hit the weight room. Strength and conditioning work will be coming up for Alabama, and then the season opener will be September 5th, Alabama against the East Carolina Pirates here in Tuscaloosa. For the Alabama softball team, a great weekend, sweeping the Auburn Tigers. Love seeing that, especially that second win. That was Alabama's 500th win under Patrick Murphy in SEC play. First softball coach in SEC history to get 500 conference wins. Great honor for Coach Murphy, who joined us last night on Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. Now coming up tonight, it's Alabama against Samford and a 6 p.m. first pitch from Homewood. We'll have radio coverage across the network starting at 5:45. And then this weekend, busy as well with Alabama softball at home against Kentucky. Friday through Sunday, the Crimson Tide currently ranked number 2 in the nation by Softball America. For the Alabama baseball team, after winning 3 straight series in SEC play, unfortunately swept by the Arkansas Razorbacks in some really tight games. Game 2 kind of got out of hand very late in the ball game, but Alabama had leads early on in each and every one of these games, but unfortunately, Arkansas picking up the sweep against the Crimson Tide. Alabama will try and bounce back away from Tuscaloosa this week. First of all, a 6 p.m. first pitch tonight for Alabama at UAB at Regents Field, the downtown Birmingham home of the Birmingham Barons, and then coming up this weekend, a road trip to number 4 Texas. Alabama against Texas coming up all weekend long, as the next 2 weekends in SEC play at Texas and at Tennessee will be on the road. Alabama, despite getting swept by Arkansas, only fell 3 spots in the D1 baseball poll. The Crimson Tide currently ranked number 11 in the nation. And the second baseman for this baseball team joins us now, Brennan Holt, from our podcast studio inside the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center. He talks about his unique baseball journey and what we can expect from the Crimson Tide moving forward. First year in Crimson, after we've seen you at some other stops throughout your college baseball journey. How much are you enjoying this year playing for the Tide?
I'm loving it. It's everything I've dreamed of and more. I've never imagined me being in Crimson from being from Baton Rouge, but I love it. I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad to spend my last year of college baseball here with the Crimson Tide.
Well, you fit in very well, again, being the everyday second baseman for Alabama. Is it a lot of fun getting to play right next to Justin LeBron as your double play partner?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not many people can say that they got to play with a first-round draft pick, so I'm very grateful, and it's awesome just to be right there in the middle with him and see all the great things that he does on the field and just being a teammate.
Yeah, did it take long to develop that good timing with him defensively and stuff like
No,
that?
not really. I mean, we're both athletic, so it kind of clicked very fast, and just the rhythm and everything worked pretty well just right off the bat.
And we're starting to see the same starting infield really each and every ball game. Luke Vaughn over at first, you at second, LeBron at short, Jason Torres at third, and even John Lim and SEC
Yeah,
play kind of catching every single
yeah,
day. Do you feel like that's going to help this team with some of the errors and things like that, and having the same five guys
right.
kind of locked in place?
Yeah, I think so because you just have that mindset going to the ballpark that you're going to be playing that position that day, just each and every day, and just being able to be with those guys and having that trust, knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses, and just helping each other get outs and win ball games.
Does it help too being back on dirt, especially when we're back in Tuscaloosa? I'm sick of watching games on turf, so I
Yes,
imagine you guys are
yes,
sick of playing on
yes.
turf.
I was just saying that earlier. I'm glad to be back for the whole week, being on our field, playing on our beautiful dirt field, and just being back at home, just where we're comfortable, really.
Yeah, and you guys were very comfortable. Those back-to-back sweeps against the Florida Gators and the Auburn Tigers. We'll go back to that Tyler Fay no-hitter. How special was that night?
It was amazing. I've never been part of one, especially playing in the field and just seeing every single out that was being made. It was remarkable. I don't know if I'll ever be part of something like that again.
And they energized you too when you got to see, okay, he's through 7, probably he's done. Maybe we'll try for a combined no, but no, they're running back out for the 8th and the ninth. That give you some juice?
Oh yeah, it definitely gave me some juice. Definitely to stay locked in. Just the way he was going about his business. He was staying locked in, just attacking the hitters, and just it kept us in the field locked in because usually whenever there's no hits, you kind of can go to sleep and not really pay attention. But seeing him locked in and going after the hitters, it just regenerized us.
And how cool was that, especially after the weekend you had at Kentucky, the midweek game against South Alabama? How cool was it to see everything start to flip with that night?
Right. Yeah, I mean those 4 games was a rough stretch, but we just knew that we were better than that, and just us staying together, just staying as a group, the strength are in numbers, and just seeing this group click over to what we're supposed to be doing and what we knew we could do was one of the greatest things.
It really was. And then you go to the next weekend, the Auburn series, definitely emotional. Alabama against Auburn, and you had some emotion on Saturday
Yeah.
night. First of all, tell us about that leadoff double as
Yeah.
you were busting it for second right away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw it in the gap, and just part of my game is trying to get that extra 90, stretch singles into doubles, and I just was like, why not? Let's do it. Try and stretch something here. Create a little chaos, and it worked out successfully. And thankfully, I was safe.
Yeah, thankfully you were safe.
Yeah,
Was able to hold on to the bag. I know
yeah,
you exchanged words with the Auburn
yeah.
shortstop. I mean, that was a fired up moment. Does
Oh
that
yeah,
just kind of show? You guys are intense baseball competitors, but
right.
it's still Alabama versus Auburn.
For sure, for sure. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, that just shows the rivalry between these two teams.
Did you guys exchange any words the rest of the weekend if you were around each other? Or
No,
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 okay.
no words were said to each other. I don't think we looked at each other once.
Because sometimes there's like friendly small talk you guys will have on
Yeah,
the field, right? But that
right.
kind of ended right
Yeah, that
there.
ended right there. Yeah, there was nothing after that.
Oh, that's cool. And then Bryce, right after you, picks up on the first pitch
First
that
pitch.
double. I mean, how special was that
That
celebration?
was awesome. Just rounding third, going home, just knowing we were gonna win the ball game, walk off, win the series. It was awesome. Couldn't written it up better.
And then you guys had to do the victory lap to right field. Then the next day you get that win, and you guys go in the stands. How
Yeah,
special was that
yeah, that
celebration?
was awesome. We kind of had that pre-stage. If we swept, we were going up in the Ragers. That just shows how meaningful that series was for us.
And you did hop the fence. You got up there.
Yeah, I had to have some help.
Who helped you out?
Yeah, one of the Ragers. Yeah, I'm a little shorter, so they helped me get up there. It was good.
That's
It
really
was good.
cool. So, not only the fun success at home, but you got to be proud too that this group has now brought that energy to the road. A great road series we just had at Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we weren't good on the road, obviously, against Kentucky, and then the midweek versus South Alabama. So we had some cleaning up to do on the road, and we just wanted to take our game that we were playing at home, just carry it on the road, just carry that momentum on the road, and we did that perfectly. And took a big road series on the road against Oklahoma.
So that's where we are now. But I want to go back to the start of your baseball journey. You mentioned it off the top. You're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Did you grow up a diehard LSU fan?
I did. I grew up going to all the home baseball games with my dad since I was about 4 or 5 years old. Football, baseball, you name it.
Who are some of your favorite players?
Growing up, obviously Alex Bregman. Grew up watching him. I loved him. Grew up watching Josh Smith. I grew up watching Cole Freeman as well, second baseman, shorter guy. I mean, I could just go down the list. There's a lot.
So you're at the box all the time. I imagine went to the camps, everything like
Oh yeah,
that.
oh yeah. I grew up all around it, all around it.
Well, so that had to be pretty cool. And again, we'll get back to your Alabama part of it, but just for you, getting that experience out of high school to sign with LSU, how special was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was my dream school. I was recruited there at the end of my sophomore year, and just it was kind of a no-brainer to go there. Growing up 10 minutes away, living, going to all the games, it was a no-brainer for me to go there out of high school.
And then were you teammates with Brady Neal there?
No, I was not.
Okay.
He was the year after me.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. I gotcha. And then from then, you've been a little bit of a journeyman at some
Yeah.
different spots. First of all, what stood out about Oklahoma State? What are you proud of your time there?
Yeah, they recruited me very hard out of high school, and I just kind of knew if I was to leave, that would be a place I'd want to go to. I loved the coaches there, the staff, and the facilities were amazing. And I just have teammates from there that I love. I still talk to this day. And the coaches there, I mean, they were top notch. I mean, you had Matt Holliday, who played in the big leagues, Robin Ventura, who played in the big leagues, and Jordy Mercer, who also played in the big leagues. So the coaching staff there was tremendous.
Yeah, that's a lot of knowledge to be
Yeah.
around, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then the next stop for you was South Alabama, where you spent 2 seasons. And again, that's a very proud baseball program with a lot of tradition of sending guys to the major leagues.
Yes, yes. I loved my time at South Alabama. Coach Calvey, he's one of the top coaches, out there, and I just loved him in my time there. I have teammates there I still talk to till this day as well. And I loved everything about South Alabama. I graduated, got my undergraduate there, and I enjoyed my 2 years there.
Yeah, I was going to ask, with all these different stops, like, what did that mean academically? Anything you had to retake? Some credits wouldn't transfer over. Was that a headache at all?
It actually wasn't, because it was all undergrad stuff. So all my credits transferred over to each school because I wasn't really deep into my major yet. So I was able to graduate on time, nothing, didn't have to take any extra hours or anything like that. And everything was smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing. And then for you at the plate for South Alabama, it seemed like some smooth sailing as well. What are some games or moments that really stand out from your years there?
I mean, really just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That question, I don't know.
It's
I don't
all
know that
good.
question.
How jazzed up would you guys get for like an Alabama game? Because we've seen some
Yeah.
intense showdowns in
Yeah.
both Mobile and in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Just being at South Alabama, that mid-major school, those midweeks when you play SEC schools, that's your Super Bowl. Those games really get you fired up, almost more than your rivals in the Sun Belt that you play on the weekends. So those games on the midweeks, they're big for us, for RPI and stuff like that. So those games were our playoff Super Bowl games that we wanted to win very badly.
And you kind of feel that from the fans too. Wouldn't
Yes.
some like Tuesday nights
Yeah.
be sold out, and then you get to a Friday conference game and maybe
Yes.
not as many?
Yes.
Well, that's cool. So you got to compete against Alabama with that opportunity. And then when you were kind of thinking about what this 5th year would look like, how did Alabama enter in those plans?
Yeah, so I was open to anything and everything. I was really just wanting to go play for a team that could compete in Omaha, and I want to win my last year of college baseball, and I just wanted to go somewhere that could compete, for that job. And I talked to Alabama, talked to Coach Vaughn, Coach Mo, and it just lined up for me that I wanted to come here, and everything, my goals, their goals were lining up together, and we were like, let's do it.
How'd you enjoy getting to know those guys after being in the opposite dugout for a few matchups with them before?
Yeah, it was awesome. We clicked very fastly. They're great guys. You can ask anyone around the league. Like, they're some of the best coaching staff, knowledge, but also just as a friend and mentor, like, they're some of the best guys.
And then you make that decision to come to Alabama. How much did this team kind of welcome you in, and how much fun was like fall baseball, getting to know your teammates in a different way when it is ultra competitive out there?
Right. Yeah, the team was great welcoming me in. It's been great. They welcomed me in very fastly, and just they were good dudes. And fall was awesome. We were just hanging out, competing against each other, talking a little smack to each other, and it's all love, from one another. It brings us closer together.
Certainly. I mean, you've got to feel like that's paid off as we've gotten in the season, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. It just getting into it honestly with one another kind of brings you, and your teammates closer together. Just brings love, closer to the program, and brings the best out of each other.
Yeah, and that's, again, all paying off for this group as we get into some really key SEC series. How is this group staying motivated, trying to keep all the momentum we've seen over the last few weeks, keep it rolling?
Right. Well, we've seen what we can do, and we can see what we're capable of. So we're wanting to, continue to do that and see really like what this program can do, from past teams and from the history that this program has. We want to bring that history back to today.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing a great job at second base for the Crimson Tide. Brennan Holt, just thank you for all the time you've given us on Crimson Drive. All the best moving forward. Roll Tide.
I appreciate it. Roll Tide.
Here we Jack Raxon.
Challenge, pick up, baby.
Here we go. And that, one of those. Oh, that. Oh, selfie. Hell yeah.
While Brennan Holt was doing well on the field against Arkansas, Ryan Coleman-Williams, Alabama football wide receiver, joined us in the radio booth on Sunday in the second inning for Alabama against Arkansas. We've had him on about 4 or 5 times this spring, talking all about his career at Alabama, thoughts on Alabama baseball as well. He'll share some thoughts on Justin LeBron, and we also get the first word from RCW right after the Golden Flake A-Day game on Saturday as he joined David Kinder tonight inside the broadcast booth for Alabama against Arkansas. Here's a replay of our conversation with Ryan Coleman-Williams. Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver Ryan Coleman-Williams. RCW, good to see you once again. Once again, football practice not done for you guys this spring. Know you have a couple things going on, but how special was the Golden Flake A-Day festivities yesterday at Saban Field?
Man, ain't nothing like it. Just to be able to be in Bryant-Denny and not have to worry about, playing against another opponent, just competing with your guys, trying to get the best out of them, and having, I don't know how many was in the stadium, but it felt like almost like game day. So, just feeling that support and being able to compete at a high level with your guys, there's nothing that could compare to it.
Really special to see. Fun atmosphere there yesterday as we see Camden Kozel, Damian Ruiz, and Kahiho Loy all due to the plate for the Razorbacks in this top of the second, and a first pitch slider in there for a strike. The spring football, we've been talking to you over the last few weeks, Ryan. How do you feel like this team's starting to come together?
Just from start to now, because it's not finished. We still got 2 more days to, be able to continue to gel together. But I feel like we've been gelling extremely well. I feel like this is the most connected team, that we've had since I've been here. And it's just awesome to be able to go into work every single day.
Hey, talk a little bit about, you've been here now 3 years, how the season ended last year. Kind of what do you want to see? Because you've got some vision of the last couple of years. What do you want to see Alabama do this fall?
Well, obviously, the talent has never been shy. So, just trying to take the talent that we've had the past 3 years and be able to showcase it the way that, we know we're capable of. The standard here is, winning and winning championships. So, just getting back to that and playing our best brand of football week in and week out.
That pitch misses low, and the count even to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Camden Kozel from Miles Upchurch, who's a really good freshman on the mound for the Crimson Tide. It's been the Sunday starter all season long for Alabama this season. 2-2 on the way, swing and a miss, strike 3, a good strikeout. Ryan, of course, you got off to such a great start as a freshman. Was it all kind of a blur from fall camp to the early weeks of the season to that Georgia game where obviously you had the game-winning touchdown? How did you describe that start to the freshman season you had?
Man, I blinked in my freshman year because I got here in May. So all of the summer I was like, okay, let me just get in where I fit in, get my feet wet. And, obviously making plays, that's how I was able to, start early on. But it was really a blur, compared to, now that, I kind of know what to expect as far as what I'm going to expect on a daily basis and being able to maximize, what I get out of the day. Early on, it was just like, I got to wake up and do it again tomorrow. Just be your best tomorrow. So there's definitely some pros and cons to that, just being where my feet was at that time. And it was, like you said, it was a blur.
It was a blur. Such a good start for you. And we'll get back to the Georgia game in a moment with Damian Ruiz at the plate. And that's low for a ball. So back at that time, that was 4 + 2 = 6. That go-ahead touchdown. I mean, that was such a crazy game. Alabama built out such a great lead. Georgia came back. You get that go-ahead score. Zabian gets the game-ending interception. Was that one of the craziest games you've been a part of?
I think in my life, honestly. Yeah. Just to see the momentum shift so fast. And, in all the different ways, we come out fast and we're like, this a top 5 team, and how are we, playing, and it doesn't feel like it. Then, they start clawing back, and it's like, okay, this is the SEC. Let's not get too excited. And then, just to be able to, hit them with the dagger at the end, that I can't even put it into words.
It was special. I got to ask you about the next Georgia game. It was in Athens last year. We got to see the crispy package. Caden Proctor gets a line out as a wide receiver. How much had you seen that in practice prior to that game?
We had probably ran it. I mean, everything that we do, we try to, like, if we're going to install it and run it in a game, we definitely try to rep it a good bit of time. So he had ran it a couple times. I just made sure I wasn't the one over there blocking, because if he would have ran up my heels, I wouldn't have got up.
Not that you can't do it.
Yeah, not that I can't. But, we had guys like Jerm, that could take that hit. So I let those guys handle that. And, Crispy, he pushed the pile a good 9 yards post-contact.
That was such an electric moment for the team. I just still wish we would have gotten a touchdown at one point this year.
And no doubt. Well, whether that was in the backfield or a screen, something, we got to get him in.
Ryan, you've gotten to play with Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, and now a new quarterback will be at the helm in the fall. Can you give us a quick breakdown on the depth chart of the quarterbacks?
Really right now,
some intangibles,
Yeah, for sure. Right now, it's definitely still a battle. But I mean, just yesterday and the 13 practices before that, they've been going head to head, and it's been beautiful to see, because pressure make diamonds, and both of them competing at a high level. Completing a lot of passes at that, and that's what you want at the quarterback position, leading vocally and as an example. So I have no complaints on either one, but we have 2 more practices this week coming up, and we'll see. It looks good, though.
It really does. Saw a lot of good things yesterday. Ruiz struck out, so 2 gone, no one on base for the Arkansas Razorbacks against Miles Upchurch. We are scoreless in the top of the second as we visit with Ryan Coleman-Williams from Alabama football, as he is getting through spring practice, ready to go for his junior season here at Alabama. That is just hard to believe how quickly time has gone. Man. And in that time, you've had a change in terms of your position coaches. Jamarcus Shepard going on to be the head coach at Oregon State. First of all, how excited are you for him to kind of watch the Beavers and see how they do now that he's the head man out in Corvallis?
Man, I talked to him not too long ago, actually, when on his spring break, and we were just rapping about last season and how he feels going into this season. And whenever he got the call, I was like, if anybody is happy for him, I know our receiver room was the happiest, just because we know he's very deserving of it. We're just super happy for him, and going into this season, we definitely gonna be watching the games. He just told me, focus on this season and put my best foot forward. He knows what I'm capable of, so it's a lot of mutual respect, and I'm super happy for my guy.
Last pitch in there for a strike. Upchurch trying to go 3 up, 3 down once again against Arkansas. No score in the top of the second. Payoff pitch. Fastball called, 3rd strike. A heater at 92. That is a strikeout to side in order. 2nd inning for Upchurch, and he overall has 4 strikeouts in a row. We're continuing our conversation. Roger Hoover, David Kindred with Alabama football wide receiver Ryan Coleman-Williams. And Ryan, always loved your podcast that you had before with Jalen Mbakwe. One of my favorite episodes you guys filmed here at the Joe with the man coming up to the plate, Justin LeBron. How cool was that on the New Wave podcast?
Man, it was amazing. Just to, like I always say, I always have so much respect for, other guys in other sports, just because you don't get to see the work that goes into it, but, they play at a high level the same way we do in football. So just to see, him from his freshman year to now, him continuing to be consistent at a high level. Last year when we had the opportunity, I was like, you got to teach me something, dog, because, I didn't do much growing up, so I just wanted to learn anything.
Oh, he's a good one to learn from. Justin LeBron, 11 homers, 29 RBI this season for the Crimson Tide. Alabama trying to get it going here in the bottom of the second against Tate McGuire. And a breaking ball outside, leaving the count.
I just want to make it very clear that when Ryan Coleman-Williams is in the booth in the bottom of the second, there have been home runs. So I'm going to, if it happens, I'm going to let him take it after Roger makes the call. I'm just saying, it looks like he's a very good football player, but it seems like he's got some broadcasting ability.
Hey, I got a little something to me. I like to bring the juice. Where there's an opportunity, I'm gonna bring it.
And it's not just baseball, softball too. That Texas series you were with Tom Canterbury, Gray Robertson had a crazy inning in that one, right?
That was the longest inning of my life. I never thought it was gonna end. I was like, I got a lot of respect for you guys too.
1-2 on LeBron. Pitch just off the plate, and now the count will even to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was that cutter right there for McGuire. And Justin LeBron hanging in there, 2-2 count. Love to see him get back on track.
McGuire gets set and the 2-2 pitch. Outside and low, now 3 balls and 2 strikes to Justin LeBron from Tate McGuire. Again, LeBron coming up to the plate. I don't know if Ryan got to see the next guy coming up, Eric Hines. He hit a moonshot past the scoreboard on Friday night. And only a freshman. Here's the 3-2.
Ooh.
And that's inside ball 4. So LeBron draws the walk. Now a man on base for a man with extreme power in Eric Hines.
Okay, then.
It's all lining up.
Yeah, it's lining up. I don't want to throw away my luck or anything. But.
The hometown hero, Eric Hines. And I have to tell this quick story as quick as I can. Roger talked about his home run on Friday night, went over the scoreboard. And just so you know it, a former Alabama alum, Brett Taft, shortstop, swinging for the downs right there, Roger, trying to do it again. Brett Taft was walking down behind the scoreboard. Ball hits the road, and Brett Taft catches it right there. The former shortstop who played under Schellenberger and Coach Wells catches the ball. Brett Taft also coaches at ACA, got that home run ball back to Eric Hines. So you talk about, small world, hometown kid. It just happened to, from home run of Eric Hines to another former Alabama alum.
Because those mementos matter. Ryan, how many footballs do you have from some of the big moments you've had here? Any game balls, anything like that?
Man, one. I'm definitely. It's partially my fault.
Okay, we embellish here.
Okay, for example, whenever I scored the Georgia touchdown, I threw the ball down, and then I danced. So there's no telling where that ball is. I always think about it. I'll be like, dang, man, I should have just ran off the sideline with the ball.
Come on, Springer, give it back to him. Here's the 0-2.
You don't think about it.
Here's a line drive to right, and that'll fall in for a base hit right in front of Rutenbar. LeBron takes off for third. He's there. Eric Hines with a single. Men on the corners. Nobody out for Alabama in the second.
Yeah, and Eric Hines down 0-2. And McGuire tried to sneak a fastball in there, low and away. Eric Hines shoots it out to right field, and now Alabama's got something going. First and third here in the bottom of the second with Ryan Coleman-Williams.
So what is the ball that you do have?
I have it from the Tennessee game this past year.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was at the end of the drive. I had that. I just brung it to the sideline, and they was like, just hold it. And I was like, all right.
So next year, any big moments, hang on to that. I know you want to do the dance.
Yeah, I'm holding the ball. I'm doing it with the ball, I swear.
Here's Andrew Purdy, freshman first baseman for the Crimson Tide, back in the starting lineup today for Alabama, as Purdy's making only his 8th start of the year. Big moment with men on the corners, nobody out in the bottom of the second. McGuire deals, and that's low and outside, 1-1. So you got a couple more practices this week, and then spring football is done. What's kind of the next steps for you once the semester is over, Ryan?
Obviously, finish the semester strong academically and in the weight room. Then in May, we'll have the chance, to get some fresh air. And but for the most part, a lot of the guys we already coordinating, still staying around each other, just in a different environment. Might go near the beach or something in I don't know, Florida, Cali, something like that. Just staying around each other, continue to keep spitting the ball out, just continue to build that relationship going into the summer this year.
So that's what I was going to ask you. You get done with practice. What does Ryan like to do outside? Obviously you like to play the video games, which, what do you like to do outside that's, now you got some free time after football practice is over?
Well, unfortunately, this is my hardest semester, the spring, and, I have an in-person class every single day. So as soon as I get done with class, as soon as we get done with workouts, I'm going to tutoring, class again.
Just a true student athlete right there.
So that's what I get to do in my free time right now. But whenever I have any free time, after that, it's usually around like 4 or 5, and I'm pretty much preparing for the next day.
There you go.
Playing the game.
1-2 is hit into right field. That's a base hit. Andrew Purdy. LeBron scores. Hines will stop at second. RBI single for the freshman. And he gives Alabama a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second.
About a shot in the arm from the freshman Purdy to get this party started and shuffling the lineup, paying off for Alabama here early. Two freshmen, Eric Hines and Purdy, back-to-back hard hits.
I'll bring a trip to the mound for the Razorback pitching coach. All right, also in the next couple of weeks, we got the NFL draft coming up. We talked about it with all the captains yesterday as they're all kind of getting in that mindset. First of all, if you got to talk to an NFL team about Ty Simpson, who was your quarterback all last year, what would you tell them?
He's a guy. I mean, and that's literally a guy. Like, so I would just say, you're going to get the same guy every day. No matter what the situation is, if things are going his way or not, he's the same guy. And I don't think you can ask for anything other than that. Just him bringing his hard hat every day, as we say in Coleman, bringing his hard hat every day and just working. And that's what you're going to expect. That's what you're going to get.
Love it, man.
Now there are 2 men aboard. Still nobody out in this inning. A walk, 2 singles for Alabama, and Jason Torres up 1-0 Crimson Tide leading as Torres slides down to the 7th spot of the order today. First pitch, he shows bunt, pulls it back, and that's in there for a strike. Obviously, Ty, one of the great 4 captains we had, along with Parker Brailsford, the center, and then 2 on the defensive side of the ball, Deontay Lawson and Tim Keenan III. We're going to miss all 4 of those guys, but for me, especially being around for a while, as that pitch is low and outside, hard to imagine Alabama football without Deontay Lawson with what he's meant to this team.
Ain't no doubt. He's from my hometown, so just watching him from wearing number 32 his freshman year to now, and man, it really, spoke to my hometown that, it's not always going to be, a guy come in and he's the guy right away. But like I said, and that's pretty much all of those, all the captains we had last year, they just stayed the course and just continued to hold each other to the highest standard, the Alabama standard, and held everyone else to it. So
1-2 on Torres. Pitch. Check swing, and there's a strike, so that's a huge first out for McGuire. Torres striking out, 1 gone. Now, how much are receivers able to be hit in practice? Were there some hard licks you got from some of the defensive backs yesterday or the last few weeks?
I didn't really get hit. During this spring, I've gotten hit, but it wasn't like, it wasn't too bad. But I did.
He so called me no contact jersey.
Oh no, we get into contact. It's mostly in blocking. I get a lot of contact when I'm blocking.
Osterhaus hits it foul. There's a strike. Justin Osterhaus, left fielder, batting 8th today for Alabama. He still has Hines at second, Purdy at first, 1 gone. We're in the bottom of the second. It's a 1-0 Alabama lead against Arkansas. And we haven't gotten to see him as that pitch misses for a ball. Been a little dinged up this spring, but Bray Hubbard, he brings it every time, doesn't he?
Every time. And, I mean, on and off the field. And I think that's just Alabama, like all our players in general. Like, it's just consistency, just because that's what the standard is. So his effort is contagious. He brings the best out of me, other guys, and I'm just super thankful to have him on my team because I hate to have to see him on a Saturday.
Ryan, talk about your coming high school, college, your favorite of the route tree. What's your favorite? Can you say if there was an ideal route for you? I mean, obviously the coach calls the play in, but like, is there one certain route you're like, oh yeah, this is my route right here?
It may be shocking, but maybe not. So I really like.
There's a ground ball to second. Souza on to second for 1. The throw to first. There's the double play. There's the out. All right, quickly, favorite route before we say goodbye.
Favorite route, I like whenever, we have an RPO and it's pressed. Like pressed, and I get to convert for a fade for a touchdown. That's my favorite thing.
Absolutely. We'll be wearing that on the video game in the summer, and then you'll be doing it on the field for the Tide this fall. Ryan, we have loved these visits. Hopefully more of them still to come.
For sure.
Ryan Coleman-Williams, thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
Appreciate you. Roll Tide.
Now we go back to baseball to close out the show as we visit for the 3rd time this spring with Logen Devenport, who continues to be injured for the Alabama baseball team. But as Hill mentioned here, he's finding ways to really contribute to this team, very involved in the hitters' meetings and helping out his teammates. He gives us great perspective on everything for Alabama as we get ready for the 6th week of conference play. And Logan, it is great to see you as this season continues rolling along for the Alabama baseball team. Just what's your perspective been in the last couple weeks for this Crimson Tide team?
It's good to see you. I mean, not a very good weekend, but I think that's baseball. I think that we're working through it. I think that you're going to have some rough patches, especially with this game. Like Coach Vaughn has said, like we've had a lot of success, a lot of stuff go our way. So I think a little adversity is good for this team, and I think it's just going to make us better.
Absolutely. And for you, again, you're working your way back from injury, but you're seeing now the lineup starts to change a little bit over these last few weeks with some freshmen getting some opportunities, veterans still stepping up in big spots as well. Does that just kind of raise the competitive attitude around practice, things like that, as everyone knows they can kind of play their way into some playing time?
Yeah, I definitely think it does, and I think it's good for the team as well. I think that that feeling that you have behind you that like somebody's, coming up next if you're not performing as good to help guys, perform at their best level.
It really is good to see. So again, some of the freshmen, we've talked about them a little bit with your time in here, but how do you see them going about their business as they continue to get opportunities?
Yeah, I'm really impressed, honestly. I think Eric Hines has done an amazing job. He's had a lot of success recently. Kroberger getting in there, he's done really well for us, just doing his job. He's, got speed. He's doing good in the outfield. I think guys that continue to perform at a young age are just going to get better and better.
You mentioned Eric Hines. I mean, that home run he hit Friday took my breath away. I barely knew what to say on the radio when he hit it. I mean, have you seen that out of him even go back to fall ball, like in batting practice
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff?
Oh, no. We know Eric can do that. We've seen that a few times. Clearing the scoreboard is, very impressive in a game, but I've seen him, clear the bullpen, and he's hit several balls out onto the road out there and in the parking lot. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
That's really good. So again, a lot of good power from him. You mentioned the speed by Kroberger and just the running game in general. Do you feel like that's more a part of this Alabama baseball team than maybe some years past? I know this is your first year here, but do you like the way Alabama's finding ways to take the extra 90?
No, I love the way. I think, laying a bunt down, stealing bases, I think it's a big part of the game that gets overlooked a little bit. And so I think when guys on the team have the ability to do that, it's kind of like a dual threat, that some guys have power, but then you add speed into that mix. Like Kroberger, went deep on Tuesday, and then, I don't know, was it yesterday or Saturday, lays down a bunt and is safe by a mile.
Those are his two hits, a home run and a bunt single.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a huge part of the game, and when you find players that can do that, it's going to bring a lot of success to the team.
And then how good is Justin LeBron at doing those things?
Justin LeBron's great at it. I'm really glad that he's, finding his way, especially on Sunday, getting those two doubles, working walks, stealing bases. He's just unbelievable.
It really is. And I know there have been a couple of tough errors that have hit this team at different times. Can you kind of just talk to the fans about how hard you guys work at some of the little things and the fundamentals on a day in, day out basis?
Yeah, that's what our main practices are, really. You really work on the little things. You get good at the little things. You can't take those for granted. You really got to focus on those things. And, when you make a mistake, it's hard to, let it go, but that's what you got to do. And if you make a little mistake and let it eat you up, it's just going to carry on and build and build and build like a snowball effect.
Yeah, I really don't want to see that. So again, Crimson Tide getting better at those things. Obviously, that helped fuel the long winning streak in SEC play. And now, as we continue getting ready for the second half of the schedule, I mean, does it kind of hit you sometimes? There's still so much baseball ahead of this team.
It does. You look. Like I was looking the other day, and it's like, how far are we in it? And you're already mid-April, and you've still got, what is it, like 6 weeks left of SEC play, 5 weeks, something like that. And it just shows how hard it is to really stay in shape, to stay healthy. There's more and more guys into the AT rooms, and I think keeping healthy is the biggest part of such a long season. And when you do that, it's a lot easier to go out there and perform better.
When we had your first interview in here, we talked about your desire to play for Alabama, your desire to play in the SEC. What's it been like getting to watch SEC baseball up close for these first 5 weekends?
It's really intense. I think that you see SEC baseball compared to other stuff, and it's harder, it's faster. Everything is just like better, which it is. I think that when you, when you look at other teams and other stuff like with Alabama, like we do such little things well. And in SEC play, I think when you do those little things well, it's just going to help the team perform better. And I think we weren't able to do that this weekend. And I think next weekend it'll help out a lot.
And I imagine as well, your previous stop in Northern Kentucky, you saw some pretty good arms, probably in some starting pitchers who maybe are finding their way just like you to Power 4 schools. But is the big difference in the bullpens with just how good these SEC bullpens are?
It definitely is, yes. I think that the main thing we worked on at Northern Kentucky was getting to that bullpen just because the arms aren't as good. And here it's kind of like you want to attack the pitcher early. You get him out of the game, but then somebody else is coming in that's throwing mid-90s, that's got crazy off speed, that's hard to hit. But I think it's a big difference, but you just got to learn to adjust to it.
And then sometimes we get in these midweek games, we're facing a different pitcher every single inning and stuff like that. How are the coaching staff, the players getting organized, making sure they know exactly the scouting report they need to have when, again, it's changing every single time guys go up to the plate?
No. Coach Papp does a really good job on scouting reports, and so on midweeks it is kind of hectic. You come in every inning and it's like, all right, this guy's got a fastball that works up, work him down in the zone. He's got a cutter, he's got a slider, change up, all this stuff, giving velos and stuff. So I think you just got to really pay attention. And I think for some guys it's really hard to go up there with no information at all, and then some guys it's easier for them to go up there with no information and just react. And so I think it's good that we have the resources and the coaching staff that'll help us out there.
Have you tried to stay locked in on a lot of that stuff as you continue to work your way back from injury?
Yeah, no, that's what every time they bring the hitters together, I'm right in there listening and getting used to it just for, be prepared for next year.
And then with that too, how good of a job does Pap do like on an SEC Friday night or something like that with a pregame hitters meeting you all have?
Does a really good job. We go into the meeting room that we have in there and talk about the pitcher, talk about his tendencies. We don't just look at the Friday night starter. We look at like relievers that are most likely going to come in. We look at pickoffs. We look at their time to the plate. We look at little things like that and find out what we can do to steal bag on, like what tendencies are they using and little things like that.
That's really cool. So again, we're at the midway point of SEC play. Just what has you excited about this baseball team over the next few weeks?
I'm really excited. I'm excited to get some bigger games going. Like we play Texas next weekend, and after that we're at Tennessee. So I think it's exciting to see how this team can go and play away and how we can perform there.
We look forward to seeing it. Logen Devenport, great to see you back in the studio. Just thank you for all the time you've given us. So Roll Tide. All the best.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Enjoyed that conversation with Logen Devenport. We'll have more baseball and softball student athletes joining us later in the week here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Speaking of what's coming up, let's take a look at our upcoming schedule here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Later tonight, both Alabama softball and baseball will be in Birmingham, softball at Samford, baseball at UAB at downtown Birmingham's Regions Field. 6 p.m. start time, 5:45 on the radio for both Alabama softball and baseball. We'll be back with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, coming up on Thursday at 2 p.m. And then this weekend, very busy for softball against Kentucky all weekend long, 5 p.m. on Friday, 1:30 the next 2 days at the Rhodes House, while baseball, I'll be with them in Austin, Texas, 6:30 on Friday night, and then 2 o'clock on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday to close it out. Then we'll head back home to Tuscaloosa, and coming up next week, we will have another edition of Hey Coach presented by Alpha Insurance, 6 p.m. from Baumhower's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Look forward to that edition of the show, as after last night's show, we only have 2 more editions of Hey Coach left this season, so make your plans on the next 2 Monday nights to join us at Baumhower's Victory Grill. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss anything that's coming up here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, a very busy stretch coming up for Alabama athletics. So again, make sure you follow us, and especially on YouTube, hit subscribe so you don't miss anything from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. That's going to wrap up this edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to our guest, Ryan Coleman-Williams, first of all, who joined us on Sunday's baseball broadcast. Fun conversation with David Kindred and Ryan Coleman-Williams. Thanks as well to Logen Devenport and Brennan Holt of Alabama Baseball for joining us as well inside the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center at our podcast studios. For all of us from the Crimson Tide Sports Network, this is Roger Hoover saying Roll Tide. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later this week for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roll Tide, everyone.